Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and another video. So I have with me the long-awaited 1, 2, 3 Go tips from Exclusive Nail Couture. So I'll tell you what I got in my order. I got 2 tip boxes and I got 2 different sizes of the 1, 2, 3 Goes. This one's kind of driving me a little bit nuts because it was printed backwards, so like from where it opens. This one was fine. So these are the square 1, 2, 3 Goes. I'll just show you real quick, like on my thumb, what they look like. That one would probably be a little bit small, but as you can see, the square is not all that long. Frankly, they're not much longer than the ones that I have on now, but I did mine in the coffin. I'll take a number 1 out so I can show you the difference in length. So this is the XXL, or this is the regular coffin 1, 2, 3 Go. As you can see, it's quite a bit more length than on the, it's kind of hard to see but because they're clear, but quite a bit of length difference, if you can see that. So, I thought that I was going to be able to kind of keep the coffin ones long. I kind of wanted to challenge myself, but it turns out I cannot, so I cut them down on this hand. I'm more of a short to medium length nail person. You know, it was really my own fault that I didn't order. I probably should have ordered like the ballerina nails or maybe the sport length, and if I do order some again, that is definitely what I will be ordering. I also got a new bottle of primer with this order. I got their stainless steel straight edge nail clippers, and these are really good quality, and they're only like $2.50 or something like that. I thought that was pretty awesome. I got the flashy lamp, which, like, I guess I overestimated how easy it would be to use this doing your own nails. Max did just come out with a DIY light, and it is almost exactly like the Kiara Sky little lamp that you can use to put your, like, you slide it in like to the side. That might be something that I get if I decide to keep doing these on myself. I don't really know how I feel about them yet, but I'll share that with you later on. So I do hold this in my mouth. I've seen people do that. On a client, I don't think it would be near as bad because obviously you have 2 hands, so I would be very inclined to use this on a client, but it's kind of hard to use it on myself. And I also got the press-on gel in pink. Now, if I do place another order, I would like to get it in clear because I just think that it has some more versatile uses, but I do like the pink. It's really pretty. It's like a builder in a bottle. It's very thick, and it almost is the exact same color as like their Eternal Beige Happy Gel. So on this hand, I was playing around with the different application methods for the 1, 2, 3 Go, and I'll go over them. This one I did with Happy Gel, and I did not like working with it. I'm not too sure why. Maybe it's because I felt like it squirted out more, I guess, than when I used the base coat and the press-on gel. Like, it was kind of tougher, and then there was a ledge, and then it like kind of popped up. I don't know. I just did not enjoy working with the hybrid gel. I obviously can't speak for everybody, and it would be different depending on your preference, but I would say that if you're not used to working with runny gels, then the hybrid gel method would probably be for you. But for me, the base coat or the press-on gel work just fine. I really like the press-on gel, but I will show you an application with the Eternal Beige Happy Gel because I want to give you your options. Now, I did try to put one on with the Candy Jelly in Clear, which is like their builder gel. I didn't order Souffle Gel. It was out of stock when I ordered, and I've had this. Excuse me. Sorry. I felt a sneeze coming on there. I tried to apply it with this, but it just would not cure. So, I don't know. And I know that I had heard of people having trouble with that with like the beige tips or the colored ones. But I mean, I have the clear one, so I don't know. But there are uses for this though, and I will show you what they are. I think that the souffle would probably be a little bit easier to apply. I would say that if you are not used to applying, like not used to runny gels and kind of controlling your product, and even for me, it was hard to control my product, but I mean, as I would say with almost anything, you know, any of the more DIY systems I've been trying lately, dip powder, this system, you know, they do have a technique to them. You can't just automatically do one nail and expect to be good. And that goes for anybody, I feel like. You could be an experienced nail tech, and if a new technique comes out, obviously you need to learn how to do it. And you can't really blame the products, so that's why, you know, I'm not really blaming any of these products. Because I do quite like these nails so far. They feel really strong. They're not bending. I'm putting an ample amount of pressure on them. This one, like, it's encapsulated glitter. So I feel like it would be the least strong, or like maybe these ones because they just have like a couple coats of gel polish on them. But I'll show you what I did to make them stronger, and they aren't that long, so I can't imagine that I would have like too many issues with it. But if you want to see these ugly things turn into these, then just keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to try my hardest to not use an e-file. So I'm not going to like go ham with showing you my prep and stuff because I feel like it's really redundant. And if you watch any video, you know, you're going to get the same kind of tips. So what I would do is I would push my cuticles back. I've also tried to keep this video as exclusive nail couture as I can. But I think the one gel polish I use isn't. But other than that, literally everything else is exclusive nail couture. So I think I did okay. And other than my lamp. But this just goes to show you can do it with another lamp. So just gently push your cuticles back. If there was any crust around the cuticle, you could get it with the other side of the scraper. I'm just going to buff my nails up really lightly. My nails are pretty thin right now. They're always usually pretty thin, but especially towards the top, because when I started doing YouTube, I started caring more about how I do my own nails, and because I was like, oh, I can't be looking like a fool, acting like I don't know what I'm doing, you know, saying I do, and then, or like, you know, trying to tell you I know what I'm doing, or be believable. So like, you can clearly see where I started doing YouTube. It's like halfway up the nail. Because they're a lot healthier, so I'm just kind of waiting for them to grow out. I want to grow out my own nails too, so I'm just taking a very fine file, and I'm just kind of lightly buffing. I'm really not applying any pressure to the nail. I'm just, you know, scuffing it up. This would be a 240 grit file. It's from Nail Career Education's brush and file kit. So you just want to remove the shininess from the nail. The reason that I like this set probably more than like the Kiara Sky or the Apres is because I already have so much stuff from Exclusive Nail Couture. I already had most of this stuff. The only things I needed to buy were the actual 1, 2, 3 Go tips themselves, a tip box to put them in because I hate the bags, and the press-on gel and the BB lamp, or the flashy lamp. That's really all I had to buy out of my own pocket. So, like, I had already had base coat for, like, doing gel polish manicures because I do a lot of them. I'd already had Happy Gel. I had already had, you know, a lot of the stuff. The top coat and candy jelly. I already had so much of the stuff from their company that, you know, I'm okay with paying $30 or $40 essentially for, like, the tips and just a couple of other odds and ends. I was fine with that. So I'm just going to finish buffing these up. Would I recommend doing this if you were, like, doing it this way, if you're doing it on client? No. I don't think it's the most effective way to, you know, remove shine from the natural nail. Normally I'd be using an e-file, but I'm doing this for two reasons. You know, my nails are really weak, and I don't want to go ham with my e-file. And I don't have any fine bits left, or fine sanding bands left. I need to get more. I only have medium, and that's a little harsh. And I want to show you that you can do this without a drill. Now, I'm sorry, e-file. Now, I will probably take my e-file, like, around the cuticle, just because I want to get it really close. So, okay, those guys are pretty well just buffed up. So now I'm going to dust them off. Don't use alcohol because it can make the product lift. And I'm going to show you how to prep your tips. So stay tuned. Okay, so I have sized my tips. They're right here. I know it's probably kind of hard to see just because it's like a lightish background, but I am on my thumb, I'm a 1 for reference. I'm a 1 on my index, I'm a 7. On my middle and ring, I am a 6, and on my pinky, I'm a 10. So I do want to mention that they did include, so they actually come in 12 sizes. They come from 0 to 11, but the tip boxes they only had 11 spaces. So I figured that I'm probably not going to use 10s a whole lot. I don't know. Some people have really narrow pinkies, so like maybe. But, yeah, I just kind of figured that I would mention that. I just keep them in a bag in my dresser. So first things first, I have checked how it fits with all my cuticles, and I'm just going to, if it doesn't fit completely, like, correctly, I'm just going to take a file. 100 is fine. You could do it with a 150 or a 180. These tips aren't incredibly hard to file because they are soft gel. At first I was kind of like, well, you know, how do I know if they're soft gel? How do I not know that they're just not plastic? But I can tell because if you've ever filed like a nail tip before, you know that they have a very distinct smell. And these don't have that. These smell like gel when you file them. So, and honestly, they feel like gel too. So I'm just going through and making sure that they all fit my cuticles correctly. This is just, like, if you would want to try to force it, it's fine. Like, you'll do okay. Like, this one I had messed up on, and then I put another tip on it, and I didn't file it, and you can see it just doesn't fit my cuticle absolutely perfect. And I'm running into that on my index fingers. For most of my other fingers, the cuticles fit pretty well, but I guess my index fingers are weird. So I'm just kind of making a pass at them, you know, just to make sure that they are fitting the way that I want them to fit. This one was a piece of work because I balance my pencil right there when I write. So I have like a big callus and my cuticle's uneven there. This is just going to help them look like they are not a press-on nail. So, I mean, can't hurt, right? I mean, if that's the look that you're going for, sure. But I would still probably want everything to be really nice and even. So, you can kind of see here, like, I don't know, you can kind of feel it. It like, it looks like it fits fine, but you can see that it's a little bit boxy towards the bottom. So I need to make it a little bit more rounded. I need to taper in these sides a little bit to get it to fit my cuticle better. This is just, and you're gonna, the way that you apply any of these is going to be roughly the same, like any of these systems. So if you're watching this and you have like the Kiara Sky ones or the Ypres ones, I would imagine that they would probably work about the same. This one actually might be a little bit too big. I would almost bet that that's why I'm having trouble with it. You don't, here, so I'll show you from the side. So like, that's really big. Do you see how much space is in between my natural nail and my index finger? Let me show you one that fits properly. Like, there's not as much space. You need some space because you want some space for the product to run. Let me just try an 8 on, just real quick, to make sure that that's not one that's going to fit better. Is this a 7? Yeah, okay, so I think the 8 is actually going to fit better on my index. So, we're just going to customize this one now because it's the right size. For these, it's kind of hard sometimes to see how it's too big. And I can understand that because, you know, if you're thinking about it, like, you can definitely see if, like, a nail tip is too big, but it might be a little bit harder for you to see if, like, one of these is too big. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I'm just going to show you on one and then I'm going to do the rest. I'm going to take my 100 grit file and I'm going to pre-blend the cuticle. So I'm just going to make a pass down towards the cuticle area. And this is just going to thin it out so you have less work to do later. And then I would dust that off. You don't really need to do any more than that. And you can etch the inside with a with an e-file, or you could probably do it with like a squishy sanding band or a squishy smoothie file kind of thing. I choose to take primer. You can take your primer and kind of scrub on the inside, and you'll tell when it's kind of etching it because it kind of gets really sticky and your brush gets crazy. Don't need a lot, doesn't take a whole lot. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of those and I will be right back. Okay, so now that my tips are all prepped, I've got my light here ready to go for my fingers. So you have a couple of options when it comes to how you want to apply base coat to your nail. So you need base coat on your nail first, a layer that is cured, because this is going to be your insurance, as Max says, but I like to say it's like a cushion. So it's going to adhere to your nail really well. And I have found that, like, I've had much fewer problems with lifting with even just like hybrid gels or like the candy jelly if I put base coat under it versus if I would just put that product straight onto the nail. I have much better adhesion because gels stick to gels really well, and this gel is meant to stick to your natural nail. So before I do that though, because I am a lifter, I am going to cleanse my nail before I prep and prime or do anything with some acetone, my natural nail. I am not cleaning it with alcohol because Max has said that will make the product lift. And I had a lot of lifting problems when I was prepping with alcohol rather than acetone, and I have much fewer problems now. So now I'm going to take the Prep. This is the one with the purple bottle cap, and I'm just going to apply that to my entire natural nail. This is a dehydrator. I mentioned this many times before. If you are a problem lifter or you just kind of want the extra insurance, I go through again to dehydrate in case you have, like, maybe you have a client with oily nail beds. So I just like to do it on everybody because what's it going to hurt? So then your nails are going to go kind of like a chalky white. Then you are going to go in with one coat, whoops, that's my new one, one coat of primer, which is the one with the green bottle. Do not put 2 coats of this. I know that there are some non-acid primers that the company tells you to put 2 coats of it on, but I wouldn't do that because Max says that it will lift. I am doing a very sparing coat, I guess. I'm being sure not to oversaturate the natural nail. When I take the brush out of the bottle, I'm wiping like hard the one off the one side. So that way I'm not getting so much product that I'm going to oversaturate the natural nail and cause an allergy, because that would be sad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, and you don't really need to watch me do this, so I'm going to do it off camera, but I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to do first. So I'm going to do 2 coats of A Pink because I have very, very weak natural nails, and they're very thin, so I want to build them up a little bit, so that I don't have so much of a gap between my natural nail and the apex of the gel tip. So I'm going to do 2 coats of this A Pink. This is number 2. This is a base coat or a nail strengthener, or you can use it as a color. This one's like a really cool toned, kind of like translucent pinky color. You cannot apply the 1, 2, 3 go with these. So I don't. Max has said you can't. I just don't think it's the right formula to mesh with the gel, since it also works as a nail strengthener. So then after I do my 2 coats of A Pink, I'm going to do 1 coat of base coat on top, and I'm going to cure it. So I'm going to cure, coat of A Pink, apply another coat of A Pink, cure, apply a coat of base coat, cure. And then I will go in with applying my tips. So I'm essentially having 3 coats of gel onto my natural nails. This is optional. You don't have to have a nail strengthener. You could just go in with base coat if your client has pretty nice nails, but mine have some unevenness, and I just want to make sure that I build them up enough to get a really good adhesion with those gel tips. You can build a little bit of an apex with this. That's why I really like this base coat, because it's a really thick base coat. Like, it's really thick. So I am going to do that, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have done my 2 coats of A Pink, and I cured each of those for 30 seconds, and then I did my coat of base coat, and I cured that for 30 seconds. So I'm going to show you first how the Happy Gel works. So, like I said, this is not my favorite method. I'm going to grab some isopropyl alcohol. This is, I don't know, it's probably 91%, I would have to guess. And just a little lint-free cloth, just to kind of dip my brush in and to clean it off. So when you're using Happy Gel or a hybrid gel of any kind, you don't need as much as you think you do. Of course, it depends on the size of the nail bed, but like, this is probably about all you would need. It goes a lot further than you think. So just kind of scoop it out, get some alcohol on your brush, and just pat it. So you want to keep it, I'm sure if you've seen tutorials on this thing, or on this system, or a system similar, they're going to say keep it thin at the cuticle and thinner at the sidewalls, thicker in the middle. Same. I'm gonna say the same thing. Probably sick of hearing it. It just goes for a more natural, application, I guess. So, all right, let's see if that's enough. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to get my light ready. So I'm going to put it on. I'm just going to set it down like that. So you take it, you line it up at your free edge. You can see the gel start to move, and I'm going to hold it there in place for just a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to take my finger away because I want to make sure that I don't have any air bubbles. And you see, as I pressed harder, a little bit squirted out right there. I just took it with my other nail and it was fine. So just make sure you're really applying a lot of pressure because you want to make sure that you don't have air bubbles. Now you're probably like, okay, well, why is this shiny? Because I etched this part, remember? I don't think that's an air bubble. I don't think I got any air bubbles in any of mine, so I'm just going to take it underneath. This is actually the best application I've done with Happy Gel, so go me. And that sucker is pretty frozen in place. Yeah, so you can do it. I guess that wasn't so bad to do with Happy Gel. The key is to not have too much. You can always add more, but it's kind of hard to take it away. Like, it gets to be quite a mess. So now I'm going to show you how to do it with press-on gel on my index. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take a little bit of press-on gel and I'm going to create a slip layer on my natural nail. So I'm going to brush it on really thin. Not trying to add any kind of, bulk structure here. Make sure you don't have any on your cuticles because it'll cure there. And then take some from your brush, just put a little bit on the inside, kind of like a slip layer on the inside, and then scoop a little out towards the cuticle. That should probably be enough. Turn on your light. Now he says to do it like this. Cuticle, rock it on, freeze. You just kind of want to get it frozen in place, then you can kind of fix it. So like, I'm sliding it down. I'm going to make sure that it's straight. I'm going to make sure that I get all of it off my cuticles. I'm going to press down really firm because we don't want any air bubbles. Okay. That looks good. Now the closer you hold this, sometimes it might have a little bit of a heat spike. I'm just going to take my Happy Gel brush and I'm going to kind of brush out the bottom of it a little bit. Like remove some of the gel that ran. Some of it's already cured on there, but that's fine. I just really don't want any like touching my finger underneath. Okay, so now I'm going to show you on my middle finger how to do it with base gel. So as you can see, this application process does not take long at all. So I'm going to do the same kind of thing that I did with the press-on gel. I'm going to do a slip layer. Like so. And then I'm going to take my tip. I'm going to put some on the inside, on the contact area. You don't need to do the whole thing. I'm going to pull a little bit at the cuticle. That's probably enough. I'm gonna have my light ready. you want to go into like a 45, like that. So go in at a 45, get the cuticle lined up, and you can watch the gel run. I'm going to freeze it real quick, just so it kind of stops moving a little bit. As you can see, it slid up really far. I'm going to put it back in place where it should be. Whoops. See, now I'm going to try that again. I might have had too little base gel. So just make sure you don't have any on your skin. Just wet that slip layer again. Base gel. Cement the cuticle. Okay. 45. Rock it on. Hold in place for a few seconds. I'm going to actually take my brush, because the base gel, since it's a little runnier, is much more likely to run onto like out and onto your finger. So I'm just going to take it, smooth it upwards. Get the cuticle nice. Make sure there's no bubbles at the top or on the sides. Go underneath a little bit. And that's how you do it with base gel. So I'm actually going to take a little wipe with some isopropyl alcohol on it, just to try to get some of the sticky gel off of my finger, because you don't want to keep that on there. Because allergies, we don't want allergies. Okay. I'm just going to give that another quick little, like, flash. Okay. So, I have something else planned for this one. I'm going to apply this one because you've seen me apply 3 of them. You don't need to watch me apply another one. I'm probably going to use press-on gel because I like it the best, and then I will come back to show you what I'm going to do with that one. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do on my middle finger. So I saw how Max did this on an IGTV demo. So I'm going to take my ring fingertip. It's going to end up being this. I'm taking my candy jelly in clear. I would imagine you could probably also do this with like souffle gel. You could probably even do it with base gel. But I think candy jelly is going to probably be, like, candy jelly or souffle are probably going to be one of the strongest. And I'm taking a raw glitter. So this is from Exclusive Nail Couture, this glitter, and it is called Frozen. It is so pretty. It is, like, multi-dimensional, like, hollow beautifulness. It's one of, honestly, it's probably my favorite glitter. I love it so much. It's so pretty. I cannot get over it. It always looks super gorgeous. It's just the shine is amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a teeny, tiny bit of candy jelly on my brush. So I'm using my Happy Gel brush right here. I mean, you could use any kind of gel brush, I would assume. I'm going to brush on a really thin layer of candy jelly. And when I say thin, I am meaning thin. I'm not going like crazy with this. Like just very thin. Thin enough to just almost like you were applying like a polish or something like that. Then I'm going to go straight in because my brush is still a little sticky with gel. And I'm just going to get glitter and I'm going to press it in. probably kind of hard to see that. There we go. So I'm just going to press in this glitter. I like this technique. I like this method because I hate feeling glitter on top of my nail. I hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. I think it's so bulky and just awful. I really don't like it at all. One bit. Nada. So you can always just kind of flip it over and see what kind of coverage you've got. So I see that, like, I'm pretty good towards the middle, but I want my sides to be a little bit more covered. Maybe a little bit more right in here. And obviously I need some more at the cuticle, but honestly, this is probably going to take me longer than my application of the actual product. So I'm just kind of pushing it to the sides, making sure it's even, and most of all, I'm making sure it's flat. And the reason for that is because I still need to put it on my finger. Now, given I'm probably going to end up cutting about half of this tip off maybe, but still. For all intents and purposes, you know, I don't use a ton of this glitter just because, like, you don't need a ton of it. A little bit goes a long way. So, and I love that they sell raw glitters that you can use with anything. I like that you can mix them with, you know, gel or acrylic or gel polish, nail polish probably even. So right now I might wipe my brush off and get a little bit more candy jelly just to kind of get it stickier in a couple of places. So, so far, this system is, I think it's a lot of fun to do. It's not time consuming. It's nice because it's odorless. I know a lot of people have problems with odor with acrylic. That would obviously not be much of a concern here because there's no monomer involved. There's no acrylic. And I can't fully say that, like, this would be, oh, you can't see that, that this is good for people who don't have the technique to sculpt, because I'm a firm believer that you need technique in anything that you do with nails. Like, technique doesn't stop if you're a beginner. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I had somebody comment on one of my videos and tell me that a product wasn't beginner friendly because how are they supposed to know the technique, and that was the product's fault. And I'm like, well, every product has technique you have to work with it in. You can't expect something for beginners to be so super easy. Everything has a technique. That goes with anything in life. So this looks really pretty and shiny, but it's not going to focus. So I'm going to put it in my lamp and cure it for 60 seconds. Okay, now that that is finished, oh, look at how pretty that is. That's so, so pretty. I'm going to actually apply it with Crystal Clear Happy Gel. I want to get the clear press-on gel because I just think it would be good for something like this. Not that you couldn't apply this with, like, a pink or something, but if there was any kind of gaps in the glitter down here, I would just want it to be clear because I think it would A, adhere better to the nail, could be wrong on that, and B, I just think it's going to make the glitter look better. In case it would seep up through some of the particles of glitter, I think that a clear is going to make the glitter stay as radiant and shiny as it is, rather than having some pink kind of peeking through. I did this one with base gel, and honestly, it was fine, but figured I would show you this one with Happy Gel because apparently I can do that now. So from here, with this nail, it's going to be the same as if I were applying it on any other nail. So I'm going to take my Happy Gel in Crystal Clear. I'm going to put it on there. Frankly, that's probably a little bit too much. I'm going to take some out. Because don't need to have any more in there than we need. I'm going to pat it. It's kind of hard to see this because it's clear, especially because it's like on top of glitter. But, you know, just do the best you can, I guess. I'm going to get my light ready. Now, since this is, since it has glitter, you're going to need to hold it for a little bit longer to get the light to kind of penetrate it. That's what I found. And the way I understand it is that that is the same if you would have like a tip that is, you know, slightly opaque, maybe like one of the, yeah, see, it's not even on there. Just gonna hold it like that because the Happy Gel cures a little bit, or it holds on to the nail a little bit better. It's not gonna run away as soon as you apply any kind of pressure to the nail, like the base gel might. Okay, that's pretty good. So I'm just gonna kind of go underneath. So now I'm going to go into the light for a full 60-second cure with these guys. You could do 90 seconds if you wanted. As you can see, the flash cure did okay. I mean, if you would want to do like a full cure after you did each one, then in fear of maybe you're not gonna knock one off, then that's fine. I feel like this would be less of a problem with clients, but if you're just doing it yourself, then maybe that's what you want to do. Whatever, you know, you do you. You do what works best for you. If you find techniques that work for you, then by all means, do it. This is just how I'm doing them, you know, based on the directions that I have seen, and I just kind of thought that it might help you. So these are going to go into the light for 60 seconds, and I will be right back. Okay, these guys have been cured for 60 seconds. I'm obviously not going to leave them this long. I couldn't do it. I tried, honestly, I tried. I had done them all up with like a blue gel polish and some bling. I was feeling very Frozen vibes. And I had even cut them down. They might have been about that long, and I still couldn't do it. So they got chopped down. So I'm going to take some tip cutters. You could use straight edge nail clippers. And before I do anything, I'm just going to trim them down. They cut pretty easily because since they are gel, a soft gel, they're not that hard to cut. Yes, maybe, no, I do it this way. As you can see, I don't cut tips a whole lot. Okay, then this guy. It's okay. This guy. This guy. You will get better at eyeballing this kind of stuff the longer you do it. Yeah, so obviously they're going to need reshaped, but before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a coat of base gel underneath. This is just going to add a little bit of strength. I highly recommend doing this if you have like the longer nails, but I'm also doing it just for the fact that like press-on gel and, you know, happy gel and base gel, candy jelly, whatever, they don't dry tack free. So I'm going to do a layer of base coat underneath, and then I'm going to do a layer of shiny before I file, so that not only do I have a little bit of added strength, I'm not going to have to try to wipe every crevice down there. It's also going to make that glitter nail a little smoother underneath, so things aren't going to like catch on it. Yeah, but the shiny, which is a non-wipe top coat, is going to help me not have to worry about that dispersion layer. And I'm not worrying about turning my hand upside down in the lamp because my lamp has a metal base. You might want to turn your hand upside down if your lamp does not have a metal base. I feel like a contortion artist here. All right, so I'm going to cure this for probably like 60 seconds, and then I'm going to do shiny and cure that for 60 seconds, and I will be back. All right, so now that I've done that, I'm just going to file them because I do want them coffin. I'm using my Fantastic File today. I'm going in to the corner at an angle first. This is a 120 grit, I believe, sticker thing. You really don't need any grit higher than that. Just tighten up the sidewalls. So as you can see, they are pretty easy to file. Then I'm just going to take my smoothie buffer and I'm just going to buff over the whole surface of the nail. Oh, I guess I can go around the cuticle. I'm just going to go around the cuticle with a 100 grit file. Make sure the edges are scored so you don't like cut yourself. And kind of tuck it in like so. So I really didn't use any file for this whole thing. So buff that. And there you go. They're pretty easy to file. They're nice to customize. Obviously, it was my mistake. I should have gotten a probably shorter length. I would have enjoyed it more. So now I'll file the rest of these up and I will be back for the gel polish. Alright, so my nails are filed. I shaped them up, buffed them up, and I'm just brushing all the dust off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, this is probably a more precautionary step on my part, to get ready for gel polish. I'm going to put a coat of base coat on top of my nail, just so I add a little bit more strength, and I find that the gel polish goes on a little smoother. So my my thoughts about this system, I like it. I think that it's reasonably priced for everything that you get. Now, given I did not get a kit, because it would have been a waste for me to get the kit because I had a lot of the stuff already, so I didn't feel the need to get a kit. But I think that it's a good way to get nails that look very, very professionally done, very quickly and very easily. Now, I am a full believer in that you need to make mistakes before you get it right. And I think that that kind of takes the work out of that, like shaping and stuff. You know, if you really weren't good at shaping, if you get the right kind of tips, you really don't need to shape your nails much. Maybe just refine it a little bit. You don't really need to do much shaping. But I think that you need to kind of try, fail, have your nails look bad before they get good. And then you're really proud when they look good. But if that's not the route that you want to take, then this is a good option. If you are in a pinch, this is a good option because I feel like it doesn't have as much technique as even as like dip powder extensions, because you don't need to like really know how to place an apex because look, it's there for you. So I'm going to cure that base coat for 30 seconds and then we will move on to color. But overall, I do like the system. I think that there would be very select clients I would do this on. I'm cool with doing them on myself because I hate spending hours and hours and hours and hours doing my nails. Even though I do enjoy it, and a lot of times it's kind of like a peaceful thing to me, it gets time consuming, and I know that there are going to be times in my life where I don't necessarily have the time to sit and do my nails, you know, all the time. So I think that these are a really great option for that if you're busy and you don't have time to do your nails all the time. Like nail techs don't always have the time to do their nails, you know, immaculately every week. Or I think that this is good for clients who maybe don't want to come back in the long run. Prom season, I know I mentioned that in one of my videos, is kind of coming up, I guess. Maybe, depending on where you are. I know my brother's prom is going to still happen, but they're just doing, they're going to do it in July. So I know come July, I'm going to have a lot of people wanting their nails done, and if they don't want to keep them on for very long, I think that this is a good option because it's like, as Susie from Nail Career Education put it, it's a next level press on. Saves you time for people who might not necessarily need to come back or want nails in the long run. So I'm going to take the Gel Polish 47 from Exclusive Nail Couture. It's like a light baby pink. And I'm going to take my Sensation Nail Fuchsia Fab. And really, like, these polishes are not bad. I get them from Walmart. So I'm going to do Fuchsia Fab on my pinky and index and the 47 on middle and thumb. Oh wow, my words are just escaping me. It's a Saturday morning, or Saturday afternoon, I guess. It has been a long week for me. Going back to work has been crazy, and it's the last week of school, so like some of my kids had a lot of assignments that they needed to get done. Some of them had very few. So it was kind of hard to juggle everything. And you know how kids get when it gets close to summer. So Okay, so I've top coated these guys, and then I'm going to do some foils. I think this is the Tea Party collection of foils from Exclusive Nail Couture, and I really like their foils. I'm going to use this one here on my index and thumb. I tried to use it once on somebody and it wasn't quite working, but I just wiped over the back of it with a little bit of rubbing alcohol and like a cotton pad, and they seem to be working fine on me because I got these beautiful little roses. I like flowers, so I'm sorry that, like, I think I have a design that's kind of similar to this, but I really like flowers and I like these transfer foils. I do know that I have to file this finger down because it's not quite matching the other ones. But that's okay. So I'm going to take the Maxi Magic Film Glue. This was the first transfer foil glue that I had ever tried, and I quite like it. So you just want to do a thin layer of this. And the key to this glue is that you only want to cure it for 30 seconds. You don't want to cure it for too long, otherwise the foil won't stick to it. And you also want to get it everywhere that you want the foil to be. This is kind of a thinner kind of gel polish thing. Also don't cap the edge because that could, your foil could like just lift off. So a little bit goes a long way. Just a thin, even coat is all you need. And of course not touching the cuticle. If you do touch the cuticle, you know, none of us are perfect. Just get an orange wood stick or even your finger or something and just, you know, scrape it up before you proceed. Alright, so this is going to go into my light for 30 seconds. Alright, so these are ready. So you just kind of have to, I like the foils that you can see through. So I like this flower right here that I'm pointing to for my middle finger. Oh, see, it's really sticky, you gotta be careful. So I'm gonna put that right there, but I don't want that rose on it yet. So I actually find it quite effective to just use my finger for this. I guess that rose is gonna be on there anyways. I just wanted to move it, but that's okay. Yeah, I find it quite effective just to use my finger to kind of burnish it on. I have a silicone tool that I used, but I don't know. I like using my finger too. And there you go, that's a near perfect foil transfer. So I'm also going to, let's see if you can see that a little bit better. There you go. It's looking a little bare right there, so I'm just gonna put some of these like little flowers right there. Oops, that didn't really work. That's okay. It's kind of hard to do it on camera. I'll probably fix that up later, but I want to show you the premise. So then I'm going to pick this big rose and put it on my thumb. Like that. You just want to try to avoid it crinkling too badly on you. Otherwise, the image is going to kind of turn out a little like, just a little funny, like squished. Make sure you get it to the whole side. In case any sticking up, just put it back down. And I'll probably add a few more things to this. And then I'm going to top coat it, and then I will be back to show you the final result. Alright, so here is your finished look. These nails turned out really cute, I think. And honestly, like, they don't feel like a press-on, you know, gel nail. So my final thoughts about this kit, I know that it doesn't sound like I'm very enthusiastic about it, but like, I've been doing a lot of nails lately and I just kind of need a nail break for like a couple of days, because I got a lot of new products in at once that I was really excited to try, and now I kind of need a break. So I will probably do a wear test, and I'll tell you how these held up in another video. I'm sure when I do something else to my nails. I'd like to wear them for about 2 weeks, honestly. That would be the ideal. So my thoughts on this kit is that I do like it, and I think that it has a lot of uses. Do I think that it is a substitute for sculptured nails? No, not really. But I think that if you are in the market for something that can make you do your, you know, that's quicker for your nails, that isn't acrylic, because some people really have a thing about acrylic, so like they wouldn't even try dip powder. And something that really doesn't take a whole lot to learn and you can do some pretty cool stuff with, then I would fully suggest this, because at least, I mean, you could put gel polish on top of dip powder, but like, you usually have to buy like a lot of other stuff, like if you want to do inlaid colors and stuff. But I like this because you can really kind of work with it however you want. It's very customizable to each client, and there's a lot of options, and especially if you're not good at shaping. If you're not good at shaping, these would be for you. So I hope that you liked this tutorial. I hope you think that the nails came out cute. Let me know how you like the 1, 2, 3 go or similar kits in the comments below. Please remember to like this video, and please subscribe to my channel. Show me some love. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. See you in the next one. Bye.